quote, and then they will come in and put the repeater coverage in the school. So that's where we are in terms of that.
Our plan that will cover all those three major providers?
It will, those three providers.
Sorry, I just have one more quick question. Did they do any sort of a comparison inside versus outside of the building? Because I know outside of the building, the service isn't that great in this general area, like not even necessarily the campus, but just within a certain radius, it's not that great. So is there like an inside-outside analysis?
So we did have that conversation. I think, the building envelope itself is so tight and so thick that coverage in here is going to be difficult. So to get the repeater network throughout the school, I think by default, that will improve some of the outside coverage. We're certainly not getting a huge antenna that's going to cover this whole area, but we believe that by default, some of the outside coverage will be better. It's particularly down by Pierce Field and now out by the softball field. We're at two different ends, so we want to make sure we get as much coverage as possible. So that's kind of the hope. I also wanted to include just some pictures. I thought this was a really interesting picture. It's going to kind of lead to our next discussion, but this picture was taken at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. Take it. We have a lot more to cover. We have a lot more to clear. We have an entire access road that's going to go around the back. We have an expanded turnaround behind the high school. We have a snow push-off area behind the middle school on the deep right part of this picture on the right. We have an additional lane to clear for snow removal. So we are in the process right now of, as we close out the project, to make sure we get the appropriate equipment. As we think about this, when we compare the old TMS to the new TMS. The old TMS had 8 entrances and exits. This one has 16. We have an additional 130 parking spots. We have all that additional hot top and pavement to cover. Additionally, the walkways and the courtyards and the walkway to central office in front of us, we didn't have any of that before. And we have not hired or added any additional staffing. So we are going to get the equipment necessary that we need to make sure that we can remove snow. But I will say that for our first snowstorm, we want to see how it goes. And we might have to make some adjustments at that point and come up with a better plan and or subcontract out with some other agencies or lean on the town a little bit more. But there's certainly a lot more to cover and prepare for. So we're just kind of, all our patterns and all our systems that were in place, they're all going to be new. So we ask the community to kind of bear with us as we deal with how we're going to figure out how we move snow when it starts to fly. But just wanted to show those aerial pictures because I think it's important to really look at the difference in the campus in a matter of 3 years. So that is the MSBA update at this time. Happy to answer any questions about that.
I just think those pictures show why we put so much hard work into this side by side.
I'd just like to thank the community too for supporting it. I'd like to thank the community for supporting it. I think it's something we can be proud of. I've heard from a lot of visiting towns at some of the sports events how impressed they are with our schools. We see some really happy students and teachers, so it's great.
That's great. All right, thank you for that. So moving on, Mr. Chair, to teaching and learning, I'm just going to briefly talk about the stakeholder survey that we put out. As you know, we're in the process of kind of gathering feedback about cell phone policy and cell phone input. And I think you can see from the two graphs on the left, this went out to the community. We received 479 responses. And as you can see in the two pie charts on the left there, the graphs, that the responses varied. And it's all over the place. And people have very different opinions about what a cell phone policy should look like in all three schools, what the process should be, what the discipline should be, whether it's needed or not. So this survey closed last Friday. We're in the process of really diving into this and looking at this. We will do a cross-analysis of this input along with the student input, along with the staff input, and we will weigh where we are in terms of mass legislation to develop a policy that is appropriate and fits the reflective needs of our community. So I would anticipate that probably in January, we're going to come back as a policy subcommittee and start having conversations about this and really diving into these statistics. But this is where we are at this point, and I thought it was just a good stat to show that there are a lot of opinions about what should be done. So we'll kind of bring it all together and develop a policy that meets our needs. And that's where we are for the cell phone input. We do have two new, I'm just going to keep going, Mr. Chair, if that's all right.
Sounds good.
Two new business items. One is the TES solar canopy proposal. So I will turn it over to Mr. Messina at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Flanagan. So when we were discussing with our solar partners, Select Energy, the project that is soon to be installed in this building, we did talk about the elementary school, and the basic comment from Select was, we're not going to put a solar array on a roof of that age. However, at the time, the state was talking about rolling out a Green School Works grant, which was essentially what was supposed to be $100 million going to school systems in the state that if they had a solar design, the state would pay to have your roof replaced. So Select wanting to be very aggressive towards making sure we were eligible and in the best possible position, they started developing a solar project for the elementary school. The Green School Works grant did not get all of the funding they originally anticipated, so they set the bar to a point where we could not be eligible for the money. There has to be a 40% low income for any city or town to qualify. That said, Select reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and said, we have a state-approved project for the elementary school, and we know we can't put it on your roof. What you thought about canopies? So, we had some initial discussion. Select actually came back to me and said, we have a preliminary design of what a canopy would look like and where we put it on your campus. The only little caveat being, all of the solar projects on the buildings are 20-year pricing agreements that you basically agree to buy all of the energy produced from them for 20 years. The solar canopies actually have a 25-year pricing agreement. So when we went to the voters of the town, we actually got approval for 20-year pricing agreements on school buildings. So this essentially is different than what we received town meeting approval for. So the superintendent and myself met with the town manager. He seemed to really like the idea of doing something like this. I think you actually added a couple of pictures of what it would look like in here. So we're looking at that parking lot right next to the school behind the cafeteria. They would install a transformer circled in red, and I think they have one more picture, Mike, that just shows what it would look like over the parking lot. They're 13 and a half feet high, so you can drive or park school buses underneath them. Again, I believe that the 25-year agreement is due to the extra infrastructure that Select is putting in. They're putting these canopies, they have to put a transformer there, there needs to be some trenching that needs to be done from the parking lot to the building. So to make it worth their while, they extend out the agreement pretty much to the life of the panels, which is 25 years. The preliminary discussion as to price, as you can see on the left-hand side, right in about the middle, would be locked in at 9.25 cents per kilowatt hour. And again, not paying National Grid any money to bring it to the building. To me, that's a great price to have, to be fixed for electricity for the next 25 years. So I think based upon the preliminary design, I believe it would be worthwhile for the schools to go in front of town meeting and ask if we can, and again, we're not asking their permission to do a solar project. You have the right to do a solar project. What we need their permission is to sign a 25-year pricing agreement, because state law basically says you can't enter anything beyond 3 years without town meeting approval. So it's not approval for the solar project as much as it is approval to buy the electricity from it for 25 years.
So would this vote allow us to add solar canopies elsewhere in the future? Or is this a one-time for this specific project?
We haven't developed the language for town meeting. My suggestion would be 25-year agreements for pricing on any school properties.
I agree. I think it makes sense to do that now and set us up for the future in case we want to add this somewhere else.
Right. And you may recall, we actually had to do the high school first
Yes.
and as a test building, and then we had to go back to the voters a second time to extend it to the other buildings that we have available. So I would suggest that we do something like it for all school-owned properties.
Agreed.
And just to add, for those at home who can't see the screen that well, in year one, we're looking at potentially saving $43,000. So it's about a $2 million saving over the 25 years itself. So it's about a $40,000 to $120,000 savings a year over 25 years.
I just want to say, I love this. I've seen these. The elementary school in Carlisle has these, and so my kids like the park there, and we've gone, and it, not only does it do this, but it also provides shade for parking, and it saves the town a bunch of money. I love that we're pursuing this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be prime parking during the winter.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
All right. I will seek a motion to approve the solar canopy proposal being brought to town meeting for community approval.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? It carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. 9B?
Mr. Chair, we're going to keep going with Mr. Messina here.
Thank you, sir. So a couple of things that we were having discussions about. We opened this middle school and welcomed students to it in August, and we saw the energy in the cafeteria space here with all the designs for the seating. And it became abundantly clear that we needed to spend some of the funds that we have on doing some other seating at the other two buildings in town. Our universal free lunch that the state has put in place since the spring of 2020 actually has allowed the food service account to develop a bit of a surplus. And again, you can only use those funds for cafeteria-related items, which includes seating and tables. Also during this time, you may recall when Whitson's did come in, part of the challenge that we've had has been the inability to staff at ideal levels at all of the cafeterias. So we're running at a very low labor rate in the cafeteria program, again, to the point where we've developed a pretty decent surplus, and the state at this time has not yet asked us to return any surplus funds, but now there's some rumblings during some recent audits that the state is basically saying, hey, if we're going to continue to pay for universal free lunch beyond this year, we don't want school districts to sit on a large amount of money that was designed for the program. So this summer, we spent a lot of time working on back-of-the-house items like dishwashers and stoves in terms of renovations or replacements to get them up to where they need to be. The next step, we wanted to focus on the high school seating and the tables. And lead it for the superintendent. for next
So
step.
with that, we reached out to one of our local vendors at Hertz Furniture, and we said, can you come in and kind of walk through our current middle school and see how that can be replicated at the high school? So myself and Principal Ogden met with Julie Mitchell from Hertz Furniture, and we did a real tour here, and we showed her, like, this is what the kids really like here. They like the high-top tables, they like the booths. How can we create some kind of flexible seating opportunity for the students at the high school? So we went over to the high school, we took measurements of the entire cafeteria, and we asked them, their experts, to kind of look at it. And they came up with a really great model that Mr. Ogden and I went back and forth with our vendor several times on to create a brand-new cafeteria seating arrangement for high school students that gives them the opportunity as well. I think one of the things that we appreciate is that the middle school kids really like having individual chairs with backs on them and not sitting at little calf round stools that's attached to a table, and so they can spread out and move the chairs around, just the flexibility. So in this design right here, kind of dive in a little bit, you can see like the top left one, all that seating in the middle, those are all high top tables. All the round tables on the bottom left around the perimeter of the middle of the cafeteria are all low regular height tables, as are those black ones, those are rectangular low tables as well. Top right, that is a high top S-bar with a booth built into each side of it that has both high and low seating. We added 2 high top 4-person stations that complement that S table. And then along the right wall, we went with booths and lower seating as well. So really, I think the high school kids will appreciate having the individual chairs, have flexible seating, and just an opportunity to really update that cafeteria that has not had new cafeteria tables. Joe's been here for 25 years, and he doesn't remember signing a PO on it, and I've been here for 28 years, and I don't recall. I think those are the original ones. So it's time, they're due, and I think one of the, it kind of complements the outside seating that the high school students have now, where years ago it was 2 picnic tables out there. Now we have a courtyard for kids to eat outside. So really, the lunch experience at the high school will really mimic what's in place now for the middle school. So it's a great opportunity. So we pulled the trigger on that PO today, and we're hoping that this furniture is in. We're going to try to clean the floors and paint the walls and have a relaunch of the cafeteria, hopefully for the Monday after February vacation, by the time everything is processed. So that's the goal right now.
How many seats are in this layout compared to current?
Right now, this is set for 184. 184. Right now, there's about 200 in there, but they're all, it's the same
Yeah.
uniform, and half of them are folded up against the wall.
So there's no concern about capacity?
No, not at all.
Excellent.
No, I mean, we have about 125 per grade, so an extra 60 seats. And generally, as soon as the weather's nice, the kids are outside. So we're excited.
I just wanted to say real quick that I think this is a great idea. We've obviously heard from the middle school kids how much they appreciate, and the staff, how much the kids are appreciating the flexible seating over here. It just allows the kids, when you're in school and you're focused and you're kind of sitting and learning, that lunchtime, when you're an older kid, you don't get recess. You're not going outside, you're not running around moving and interacting at recess. So the flexible seating does allow them time to have a movement and a social time. And after going and touring the high school, you kind of forget how big those kids are over there. They're big, they're adult size. Some of them were much larger than I am, and they're sitting in those really uncomfortable tables, like you said. So I think this is fabulous. I think they definitely needed it. I think they will greatly appreciate it and benefit from it. So I think it's fabulous.
It's great. So no action required on that. Just want to keep the committee up to date and let you know where the money's coming from. This isn't a windfall of money. This is specifically earmarked money for that purpose.
Thank you. I think it's a great use of funds, so good job. Finance, Mr. Messina, we'll stick with you.
That's me again. Okay, signing of bills. I have all of the bill warrants. There were 13 of them. In your drive, as always, is the list of warrant numbers, accounts, and amounts. For signing of payroll, we have 3 payrolls listed in your drive. payrolls of October 20th, November 3rd, and November 17th. Warrant numbers and amounts are in your drive. And that's it for finance tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
School committee discussion. Cameron?
I'm all set, thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say we had a great time at the conference, a lot of good topics. Matter of fact, one of the ones was talking about legislative update, and they were saying that even though the Senate had passed their version of the cell phone bill, that the Speaker of the House was probably going to let it go to the local communities to decide on their own. So I think that's a good thing. I think we'll look forward to that as policy committee. Love the idea of the solar canopy as well as the new furniture and layout for THS. Been a long time coming. And lastly, Joe, I know you're going to be here through the year. You've been the only business manager I've known, since I've been on the committee here. In my other community, I had a chance to serve with a number of different business managers, but Joe, you've been the best. You've done a great job here, and much appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, I have to go after that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Thank you, Bert. Yeah, I told the superintendent when I first mentioned about a retirement date that it's not my intention to just walk out the door the day after. I think I'm very proud of what we've built here from a finance perspective in support of the schools. And I did say to the superintendent, I'm not going to abandon the baby. I'm local, I'm not planning on disappearing, and you're going to be stuck with me a little bit longer. So that's all I'll say tonight.
Stacy?
I'll keep it short because last time I talked a lot, but Joe, I just want to say thank you. When I came on school committee for the first time, you kind of helped me out learning the ropes, and you took me on the financial committee and really taught me everything that I needed to know and taught me up on everything and dealt with all my questions with patience. So thank you, and we're going to miss you, but it's nice to know that it goes by and we'll still see you on there.
Stacy's first meeting had nothing on my first meeting that was 3 hours long, as you and my fellow school committee members patiently endured all of my questions. But I think while my fellow members were ready to chuck me out the door, you were patient and I think would have sat there 3 more hours and answered every single question I had. So I appreciate you. I am glad you're not leaving. Maybe I'll see you in the grocery store again. We can discuss coffee creamers. But thank you for all you've done. And just to piggyback on what Bert was mentioning about the MASC, MASS joint conference last week, there was a lot of really good information, but my biggest takeaway was how lucky we are here in Tyngsborough to have a very cohesive relationship with the central office and the school committee and the staff in town. And just even though like sometimes we do have a little bit of controversy here and there, we've got nothing on some of these other communities. So thank you to everybody in this room that serves alongside of each other and everybody in the community at home, because we represent you guys. So that's it. Thank you.
I'd just like to thank Dr. Flanagan and his staff for their innovation. Just because we're done with the middle school project doesn't mean that the innovation for our district is over. We have academic innovation, we have innovation in our cafeteria, we have innovation with ways to save money through our solar programs, innovation with the cell phone. So it just, you never cease to amaze me and impress me. I appreciate the continuous innovation and the continuous improvement. It's not just speak. You live the continuous improvement. So thank you for that, to you and all of your staff, Mr. Messina included. Mr. Messina, congratulations on your notification of retirement, and I'm going to hold any remarks for a little closer to the end. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you.
I'm not talking about him tonight. There's no way that's happening. I got to ride him all through budget season, so. Great stuff about some of our high school kids. State champ swimmers, Baldwin, Ms. Hogan signed at BU, NLI, that's awesome. Students of the month, that's great. I love to hear our Tyngsborough High School kids doing really good things. I also love to hear that I think we had a really solid turnout for our THS Info Night last week, and it was an opportunity for Mr. Ogden, Mr. Trainer, really to talk about the good things going on at Tyngsborough High School. Heard some really positive feedback about that, and I know that they have a couple more ideas to really talk about making that transition as seamless as possible. So that's all well and good. I guess that's all I'll say for tonight. Oh, and our girls cross-country meeting, All-State, going to the All-State meeting, which was great, too. So I probably missed something, but all good things. All good things happening here, a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, so congratulations to all the fall sports teams. Tommy Baldwin, amazing job. I know there's some uncertainty about the swim team at the beginning of the year. Really happy he found a place to swim and has been so successful. Kylie Hogan, if you haven't seen her play, come out and watch her this season. She's just unbelievable. So fun to watch, such a good teammate and good, ambassador for the district and the sport. It never ceases to amaze me how such a small town can produce so many good athletes and good character to go with it. It's just really impressive, just no matter what the sport is, we seem to have really good athletes and good students. Congrats to the students of the month. Joe, likewise, I'm going to wait till June before I give you the teary farewell.
Okay, that's
And
good.
happy Thanksgiving,
I
everybody.
don't think I could handle it tonight, so.
If I may, I have one more. I do want to congratulate TJ Bradford on his school record for interceptions that happened on Friday. School record for most interceptions in a season. So
Awesome.
congratulations to
How
TJ.
many?
I have no idea.
Sorry, I didn't-
A lot.
more than anybody else.
More than anybody else,
Exactly.
yes.
Okay. We do have a need for executive session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. This will require a motion and a roll call vote.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Discussion? Bert,
In favor?
in favor?
In favor?
In favor.
In favor.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.